I will cover two topics in this video. The first one is what is our restaurant operations manual? Like, why do people buy it and what's the idea behind it? And the second one is what exactly do we have in our pre-built restaurant operations manual template? And for that, I will share my screen and I will actually show you the inside of our product. So starting with the first one, the idea behind all of our pre-built business operations templates are a couple of things. One, when you hire new team members to your business, instead of training them manually on each and every single processes you have, the systems, workflows, and explaining them what they're supposed to do and expecting them to do it correctly, what you do is you hand your manual to them and say, everything you need to know is here. I've already built the system, or we've already built the systems. You just need to run the systems, right? So you say, read it, read this manual, study it, ask me if you have any questions. But basically, this is our business playbook. This is how we do things here. And if you've read the E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber, you're probably remembering the book right now. The second reason why people need or buy operations manual is because, let's say you have a restaurant and you want to grow your business, right? You want to go franchise or second, open a second location of your business. It's very hard to do it if you don't have an operations manual, unfortunately, because when you want to grow your business, that means you've already, have a successful enterprise going on in one location. You want to replicate the same systems. But if you haven't built the systems, or you built them, but you haven't documented them, so it will be very hard to replicate the same thing in a second location. So you can think of your operations manual as your franchise manual. There are very small differences between them. And the third one, the last one I want to mention is, even if you don't want to grow or you don't want to hire new team members to your business, it's still for the purposes of proper organization and document management, knowledge management, it's still a good idea to have or build your operations manual. Your recipes go into your operations manual. The dress code for your employees in your operations manual. Employee onboarding workflow you have or employee departure processes you have goes into your operations manual. Your, restaurant opening checklist, closing checklist, the food safety and hygiene requirements or the instructions you have, everything, all of these are part of your operations manual. And ideally, it has to be in one place, neatly structured, easy to read, flowy, and not, 200 pages of Word document with 50 cross references in it or 20 appendices of it. It's ideally, it has to be easy to navigate. So that's what we have in our pre-built restaurant operations manual template that is hosted on Notion. So let me show you what exactly we have in our product.
And here we go. This is how our restaurant operations manual look. This is the homepage that you arrive when you buy our template. And we have a few instructions here. You read the instructions, duplicate the manual into your Notion, and voila, you have your restaurant operations manual into your own private Notion account. And as you can see, these 13 sections are where the content of your manual lies in. And since this is a pre-built template, that means that all of these sections are actually, preloaded with standard and best practices. I will go through each section and show you what we have inside and show you some sample content so that you know what you can expect actually buying this product. The first section we have is introduction section. It's a brief one. It basically talks about the purpose of this manual, what are the key features, how to use this manual, and so on. And the second section we have is the business history section. This is where you keep or write down the history of your business, any achievements you had, any awards you have, or any milestones you achieved in the history of business. All of them goes here. And this is to give a sense of ownership to your employees. The next section is culture and values. And we have a sample content here, as in other sections. And the reason why we keep our values in our operations manuals is because the values serve as guiding principles for our employees to make their own choices when they don't have anything written or anything specific in our business systems. The next section is organization chart. Again, we have a sample chart here and a template here. If you already have your organization chart, you can copy paste it here as an image. Just take a screenshot and you can add it as an image here, or you can use this as a base and create your organization chart using that template. The next section is job descriptions. All titles or positions we had in organization chart have their job descriptions here. And just to show you some examples, for instance, general manager, all of them, all job descriptions have this 7-part templates: job title, job purpose, reporting manager, roles and responsibilities, qualifications, and performance evaluation. And as you can see, front of house manager, back of house manager, waiter and waitress, all of them have their own job description. And moving on, business systems and processes. This is the most comprehensive section in all of our template and custom-made operations manuals. And in the restaurant operations manual template, we split this section into 3: employee relations, customer relations, and administrative processes. And all of these tiles, of course, has their own content in it. Just to give you some idea, employee onboarding, we have a standard practice here, onboarding workflow, trial period, some other instructions, one-on-one meetings, so on and so forth. From customer relations, we have a best practice for how to handle picky customers, how to handle complaints, lost and found items, what to do when there's a found item in the restaurant. And from administrative processes, we have, food safety and hygiene. We have the mix of standard and best practice here, waste management, cash handling, stock inventory management, so on and so forth. So again, every business is different, and so are their operations. But this is a very comprehensive section, and this section gives you a very solid foundation and a starting point to build out or document your systems. Some of them you will probably adopt as is, some of them you will need to revise, and some of them may not be applicable to you, so you will need to remove the tiles here. And next section we have is checklist, forms, and how-to guide section. This is where you keep all of your templates, whether it's a checklist or forms, recipes, some lists, maybe call scripts, your logs, your how-to guides, maybe email templates that you use or your employees use. Everything goes here. Again, we have some sample content based on standard and best practices in this section as well, such as like opening checklist, closing checklist, or after morning rush side work checklist, closing checklist. We have the employee onboarding checklist, and then employee departure checklist, and we have the repairs log here. Since every restaurant is a brick and mortar store, there will be some repair and maintenance issues, so that goes here. Shift arrival checklist, shift departure checklist, all of those templates goes into this section. And your recipes, by the way, can go into this checklist, forms, and how-to guide section. The next one we have is owner-only section. This is where this section is, or ideally should be, accessible by only the owner or the management team, because this is where you keep all of your KPIs, the benchmarks, and everything that is more confidential to the business owner. And that's why under this instruction we basically recommend you separate this section in your Notion account and keep it out of your operations manual that is accessible to your employees. And the content we have in this section is to help you manage your business in a more effective and strategic way. That's why you will see KPIs and benchmarks section here, skills management, time management, most valuable customer profile, customer touch points, for instance, if you want to improve the customer journey of your business. All of those strategic points are in this section. The next one we have is the training and resources section. This is where you keep your resources for your employees for their personal and professional development. We have a few sample content here. One of them is company library. If there is any book that you want your employees to read for their, development, that goes into here, or any video for them to watch, and a podcast for them to listen. There's career advancement roadmap. You say if you spend 2 years in our restaurant, you become a tier 1, and then tier 2, tier 3 employee, and there are rewards for each of the levels. And then any other video tutorial, recipe tutorial, any other how-to guide, or some other resources, everything goes under this section. You can add PDFs there, you can add videos, any Loom training or Zoom training you have, those can go in under training and resources. The next section we have is emergency procedures. This is again standard section. Since every restaurant is a physical location, you may want to have emergency procedures to let your employees know what they need to do if there's a fire or medical emergency or some robbery, etc. So that's where you keep your emergency procedures. The next one is directory. This is where you keep all the contact information of your management team, your employees, suppliers, your repairman or handyman people. And the reason why we keep our directory in our operations manual is because you don't want your employees to come to you or call you whenever they need someone's contact information. You may be on vacation or you may not be available, so this section comes in handy for them. The next section is the glossary. And this is where you keep all of your business terminology, if you have some, or abbreviation, acronyms. Many businesses have those that are specific to their industry or maybe even their internal team. So you write down the glossary and their description under this section. And the last one is new hire onboarding quiz. And the idea behind this section is because when you hand your operations manual to a new hire, for instance, you want them to read it and capture the essence of it or become familiar with how to use it, how to navigate it. So and in order to ensure that, you tell them read it, and at the end there is a new hire onboarding quiz. Send me the answers to those quiz. So this is what we have in our restaurant operations manual. As you can see, it's digital, it's neatly structured, it has sample content in it. Of course, you need to customize it because this has a standard content, and every business is different, so are their operations. So you will need to tailor it to your own operational and business needs. But after you do the customization, you will need a full-fledged operations manual for your team and for your business. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions on YouTube in the comments.